This is not getting discussed on the mainstream media. Not only are they wrong legally, but the fact that they would do this is outrageous. This is an overreaction and really nonsense. How would you react if this was your son or your daughter? It's the offense of knowing the truth. It's the offense of having an alternate worldview. Saying God bless you to someone is not a violation of the law.
Sat cold in a waiting room, frightened and all alone. Watched the clock tick down, knowing that her baby would soon be gone. Her head slung low, so embarrassed. She was 13 years old. She felt a kick inside as a reminder of a life she couldn't show. Then she heard a voice inside saying, "Run away. It was a mistake, but don't throw your child away."
Hey, welcome back to the broadcast, everyone. That's a brand new song and a brand new music video that's out called This Time. In fact, we'll post that right now. It's been posted to my Facebook and to the ACLJs. We'll repost it again while we're on the air here, especially for our Sirius XM listeners. That is out. John Elefante, of course, a former lead singer for Kansas, a good friend of ours. You've seen him on a couple of music videos we've done here in the studio. That's why you got you see the music equipment behind us here for those of you that are watching on television, because we're going to record some more stuff this afternoon. But, John, it's great to have you in the studio. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, thank you for having me, always.
You've got a brand new music video out, a brand new CD that's been out. Tell us a little bit about the song. Is called This Time, and later in the broadcast, folks, we're going to play the entire song for you. And for our television audience, you'll actually see the entire music video. But tell us a little bit about the song, because today the Supreme Court is being asked to hear two cases involving what's called the HHS mandate, Health and Human Service mandate, which was mandatory abortion funding in Obamacare. That's now at the Supreme Court. We've got 8 of those cases. We've won. Now they're going to the Supreme Court of the United States. Tell us about this particular song of yours this time.
I mean, this is a very special song to me. One of the most special songs I've ever written. It's the story of how my daughter came into the world. I mean, she was literally almost aborted, and thank God her birth mother chose life. And she's now 20 years old, and this song, since the video has come out, is really it's really doing unbelievable. We have like almost 100,000 views in 4 days.
I mean, think about that for a moment, folks. 100,000 views in 4 days. It is a powerful video, which you're going to hear a lot more about, and you're going to hear the music and see the video for our television audience. John, let me ask you a question here, and that is, why the life issue right now for you? Why was this the time for you to write a song? It's a fantastic song, but why now?
I felt when I wrote the music, the way the music played, it was a story song. Something just said, this has got to be a story song. This is not your ordinary rock and roll lyric right here.
Right.
And I did this very differently. I was writing like a line at a time at this and singing 2 lines at a time and recollecting how, what I remembered from 20 years ago when I spoke to the birth mother and the birth grandmother about some of the things that happened.
What was that experience like, talking to the birth mother and the birth grandmother?
Pretty amazing. God was so involved. I kept thinking, they're gonna back out. They're gonna back out. They're not, they're gonna keep the child. But it was you got to keep in mind she was 13. I mean, this is a baby having a baby.
Right.
And I mean, she wasn't all that mature. The birth grandmother was all for adoption, and praise God that she was. I mean, and now was the time to write this song.
So this song really comes out of this is your personal experience. I mean, this is your family's personal story in a sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're going to play a portion of that. Again, you'll hear it during the bumpers here, but you're also going to hear it during the broadcast. We're going to actually play the entire song. And we're also going to show the video. On our television audience, you'll be able to see the video. I'll tell you what, we're going to post it on our Facebook. Will said they're doing that now. Great. Is it already up or going? It is up. Great. Perfect. So those of you listening right now, you can go to our Facebook and you can load it right there and listen to it. We encourage you to do that. We're going to come back more with John Elefante and your phone calls as well. A lot of you are calling in about the IRS matter. I'm going to try to tie that in because there's a way to tie all of this in, because the IRS is going to be, ready for this, folks, handling, this is important, the IRS is going to be handling the enforcement of Obamacare. which has an abortion mandate provision in it, and we talk about this song that John's written, you realize the timeliness of all of this coming together, whether it's the music, the video, or the legal action, all coalescing at the same time. Here's a portion of that song now. And again, if you want to end this abuse of the IRS, it's easy to do. You could just simply go to aclj.org or call us at 877-989-2255. Take a listen to the song.
Taking her this time. No, you're not taking her this time.
The Internal Revenue Service scandal is getting worse. Now there are new revelations of the IRS targeting Tea Party and conservative groups, disturbing admissions that the IRS scheme was even more partisan and more coordinated than previously thought. The American Center for Law and Justice represents 41 groups in a federal lawsuit challenging the IRS. We intend to get to the bottom of this unlawful and unconstitutional scheme, an out-of-control IRS that intentionally targeted conservative organizations, violating their First Amendment rights. Stand with the ACLJ now. Sign on to our petition to end IRS abuse. Add your name by calling 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255 or online, aclj.org.
She was living in another world. She saw the little girl become a woman, living in a happy home.
Hey, welcome back to the broadcast, everyone. That's a brand new song from John Elefante, also a new video. It's called This Time. Almost 100,000 views right now, which is really incredible. We're thrilled to hear that. We love the song. We love the video. It's available right now, by the way, on our Facebook page. So if you just are listening to the broadcast now on radio or TV, if you're seeing it on TV, go there and you could load it right there and take a look at it. You could also go to johnelefante.com. That's johnelefante.com. We've got calls coming in. Let me also do a quick update here on Pastor Saeed Abedini. We've asked you to write letters to Pastor Saeed. You've done that. Thousands and thousands of letters were sent. We now ask you to write a letter to the president of Iran. We set an initial goal, folks, and this is where I got to say a huge thank you to our ACLJ family and our Be Heard Project group. We asked that there be a situation where maybe we could get to 52,000 letters by the time that the president of Iran is actually in the United States. We are over 67,378 signatures in a few days. This is incredible to letters going to this president asking for relief. So that's a great thing. Thank you. You continue to do that at BeHeardProject.com. Robert's calling from Maryland. Hi, Robert. Welcome to the broadcast. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Jay. I wanted to ask the question, with the new revelation coming out that the Internal Revenue Service, even with conservative and other Tea Party groups, that they did approve for tax exemption status, and they were monitoring them. A couple of things. One was just censorship on the part of the IRS against those groups because of their views. Also was this an attack on free speech, and for the pro-life groups that were targeted by the Internal Revenue Service and may have ended up being approved for tax exemption status. Did the IRS do that because the Internal Revenue Service is actually going to hire 16,000 agents to enforce Obamacare?
Yeah.
You that don't buy, health care.
Yeah, a scary thought, by the way. Robert, great question as always. And first, with regard to the censorship, sure, it's censorship. It's viewpoint-based censorship. And you asked about the pro-life groups. And this is, they actually asked and actually said in writing, John, and this is to answer your question, Robert, in the questions that we got from the IRS on our clients that were pro-life groups, they said that your opinion that you're expressing, this pro-life position, is not based on fact, is emotive, and therefore that's a basis upon which we should deny you what we give everybody else, which is a tax-exempt status, including Planned Parenthood, who gets a tax-exempt status. So when you do music that tells the story of life, and you hear somebody like the IRS saying, boy, this is just nothing but emotion. Well, sure, there's emotion. This is a human being we're talking about. But what's your reaction, John, as a musician, as a singer, as an American, as a Christian, when this kind of target is saying that your message that you've got in the song, your pro-life views, you know what? Pure emotion. You have no fact backing it up.
It's absurd. I'd like to see that argument used against many things that they propagate.
By the way, they use the word propaganda as in their master's set list. They actually called it propaganda. as if it was a false statement. They really take the view that a commitment to life is contrary to science and thought. Matt's calling from California. Hi, Matt. Welcome to the broadcast. You're on the air.
Appreciate you taking my call. You
Sure.
know, as an American citizen, it is very clear that the way our government was set up, these people work for us. And
Yeah.
as a citizen, I'm outraged at the behavior that I see. I mean, the activities that we're uncovering at this point are simply the result of inadequate leadership in a public office.
Well, it's more than that. It's an intentional infringement of constitutional rights, and it's a targeting of Christians, conservatives, and pro-life groups. When you go back and look at your own life, your own song, this particular song, this time, that is the story of a real person, a family, actually.
Gosh, yes.
And so tell a little bit more about that story.
I changed her diapers. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. So this is not emotive. This is reality.
Absolutely.
So when you write a song like this time, you said you went line by line. What's the significance of that? Why is that different?
I've never written a song like that. It usually I'll write the song on a piece of paper and then I'll have the melody written and then I'll sing the lyric. But in this case, it was almost like just divine intervention. I mean, it was just coming to me line by line, and it just started to culminate as a story that was. And I didn't realize when I wrote it that it was going to be a controversial song, because it was simply just the story of how my daughter came into the world. But it was unique in how I did write it and sing it line by line.
What's your daughter's reaction to it?
She's very pro adoption.
Yeah.
Very, very pro adoption.
Yeah.
She loves her family. In fact, she's 20. She doesn't even want to move out. She wants to stay at home right now. She's very, very okay with it. I mean, we told her when she was about 8 years old, when she was old enough to understand it.
So you know, when you look at this issue, because there's a side to this that you may not be aware of. So when all this IRS controversy broke about the Tea Party groups and the conservative groups, David French from our office, who's a senior counsel here at the ACLJ, directs our digital media, he also adopted a child. And there was at the time when they did their adoption a few years ago, there was an adoption tax credit. Every person that took the adoption tax credit, I hope the entire world that's listening to this broadcast hears this. Every group, every person that took the adoption tax credit, which was allowed by Congress, was audited by the Internal Revenue Service at the time that during this particular time frame, a couple of years ago. Every group, and out of all of those, no changes on any of them, but they took taxpayer money to go after adoption tax credits as if an adoption is somehow not valid and worthy of support. And as an adoptive parent, that's got to bother you.
Oh, my goodness. It more than bothers me.
You know, when you see this situation develop, and it has here, that you've got this kind of animus developing, this kind of hostility, let's talk about your own faith. You know, a lot of people that are listening to this broadcast right now saying, John Elefante, lead singer from Kansas, all these great songs. John Elefante, though, is also a Christian. So tell us a little bit about that. How did you come to Christ? What was the story in your life?
I came to Christ in 1980. A person had come back into my life that I was in grade school with, and he was noticeably different. Very noticeably different. He was a good friend of mine all through grade school and stuff. And he started talking to me about Jesus. And at first I just kind of turned a deaf ear for a few years. And the Holy Spirit really started hammering me, you know, but subtly. I mean, the Holy Spirit is subtle, but it was, you know, it got to the point where I couldn't deny it anymore. When he asked me the question, if you died tomorrow, do you think you'll go to heaven? It was like, I'm a pretty good guy. You know, I treat people well, and people seem to like me. And that excuse in my own heart was not cutting it anymore. I mean, I needed a savior.
So this is 1980.
Yes.
When did you join Kansas?
81.
All right. So the question that I'm sure you've been asked 9 zillion times, you just become a Christian, you just come to Christ, and then you join one of the most successful rock bands in history. That's about to even be more successful. How did that all work?
It was very exciting. I mean, just, you know, to go from, you know, just a 23-year-old kid that was, you know, or 22-year-old kid that wasn't doing much to this major rock band. But here's the bad part. I backslid a little bit. Yeah. I mean, the money, the money and the fame and the power that you're given in that situation, it goes to your head. It's hard to deal with. I was a young baby Christian, and I had a little bit of support around me spiritually, but it's not easy. And I regret the fact that I did backslide a bit, but I came back around.
Yeah. There were other guys in the band that were Christians?
Yeah, Kerry Livgren and Dave Hope.
Yeah. John Elefante's got a brand new song out. It's called This Time. It's right now on our Facebook page. So if you click there, you could listen and watch the video over close to 100,000. Let's get it over 100,000. So go to our Facebook page or John Elefante's Facebook page or simply look it up. We want you to do that, johnelefante.com. Very great music. Get the new album that's out. It's fantastic. I've been a huge fan of John's for a long time, but the album is just great. I still call them albums, that is. But you can get that information at johnelefante.com. We've got a lot more ahead with John Elefante, and stay tuned.
You'll be fine. You're still young. We see this all the time.
The Internal Revenue Service scandal is getting worse. Now there are new revelations of the IRS targeting Tea Party and conservative groups, disturbing admissions that the IRS scheme was even more partisan and more coordinated than previously thought. The American Center for Law and Justice represents 41 groups in a federal lawsuit challenging the IRS. We intend to get to the bottom of this unlawful and unconstitutional scheme, an out-of-control IRS that intentionally targeted conservative organizations, violating their First Amendment rights. Stand with the ACLJ now. Sign on to our petition to end IRS abuse. Add your name by calling 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255 or online, aclj.org.
This time, no, you're not taking her. This time.
Hey, welcome back to the broadcast, everyone. John Elefante, it's another cut off of the new album. The name of the new album?
To the Sun.
On My Way to the Sun, folks. Great album. We encourage you to get it. Go to johnelefante.com. We have information about it as well. You're in for a treat. We don't normally do this. In fact, I'm trying to think when was the last time we did this, and I can't think, going back about 17 years, I don't think we've ever done this. But we're going to do it for this song because, we battle on the life issue all the time. It's a big part of what we do at the ACLJ. John has written a fantastic song called This Time, and it's about the life issue. For our television audience, you're going to actually see the video. For our listening audience, you're going to hear the entire song. It's about 5 minutes. Take a listen.
She sat cold in a waiting room, frightened and all alone. Watched the clock tick down, knowing that her baby would soon be gone. Her head slung low, so embarrassed. She was 13 years old. She felt a kick inside as a reminder of a life she couldn't show. Then she heard a voice inside saying, "Run away. It was a mistake, but don't throw your child away." Then she fell into a light sleep, had a dream about a little girl. There was a birthday cake and 3 candles. She was living in another world. She saw the little girl become a woman, living in a happy home. Then she was suddenly awakened by a voice that called her name. They said, "Don't worry, you'll be fine. You're still young. Right then the Lord began to speak. "You're not taking this one, she's mine. She'll grow up and see my name. You're not taking her, she's mine. And you're not taking her this time. No, you're not taking her this time." She laid flat on the table. She asked, "Please, can I talk to someone?" But a headstrong woman with a blank stare said, "We've got to get this done." Then she cried out loud, "Please help me. I've got to get to a phone. I need to call my mama to help me find my baby a home." you're not taking her this time. No, you're not taking her this time. This time, no, you're not taking her this time.
Hi, I'm Sammy Elefante. The story you just watched is based on how I was rescued from being aborted.
And we are eternally grateful that Sammy's birth mother chose life.
Every day in America, 3,500 children lose their lives to abortion. That is one child every 25 seconds.
You can save babies from abortion. For more information, please visit onlineforlife.org.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. That's the great song by John Elefante called This Time. The music video is up right now on my Facebook and ACLJ's as well, so you can get it there. You can also go to johnelefante.com. We're going to go to the phones. We got some calls waiting. Dwayne's calling from Texas on line 1. Hi, Dwayne. Welcome to the broadcast. You're on the air.
Hey, thank you very much. I just want to let you know, 36 years ago, I was adopted.
Great.
I was adopted as 9 days old. And what a blessing it is to receive a family that just does nothing but love you. And then nowadays, when you're hearing, there's so much going on with abortion. There's so many abortions taking place. I mean, there's millions of innocent children being murdered every day. And what a blessing and it was to be able to receive the gift of life through two parents who genuinely loved me. They treated me as their own. So I applaud you for your, for basically adopting the child and raising her. What a blessing that is.
Thank you, Dwayne.
And it's been a blessing for you and your wife.
Oh, absolutely. We have 2 adopted kids.
Yeah. So, people, there's 2 sides to this in the right way, and that is that the adopted child has a family, and the adopted parents have the children. I mean, it's quite an amazing, great thing.
Somebody told me the other day, they asked, what about a birth mother that has to, you want her to hang on to the child and not abort, and she's got to go through 8 or 9 months of a pregnancy. And my answer to that was, that's far better than 30 or 40 years of regretment and mental anguish.
Which science has shown.
It has.
Yeah. Let's go to Carrie, who's calling from Alabama. She's on line 2. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Jay. I just wanted to call in and tell John that I absolutely love the song. It gave me chills.
Thank you.
Just to keep doing what he's doing, and to bless his life and his daughter, and to thank him and hope God blesses him strongly for everything that he's done for that little girl, and of course his second child. And Jay, also to tell you to keep up the good work, and for more people to continue to pray for Pastor Saeed, and hopefully he'll get to come home soon.
Well, we've got, as I said, a major breakthrough. We think we're approaching well over 67,000 letters going to the Iranian president. We appreciate you calling in, Carrie. Appreciate your kind words. And folks, if you thought the music that you just heard is great, wait until you watch the video. It's absolutely tremendous. I want to encourage you to really take a look at that. You go to johnelefante.com. You can get it there. You can go to his Facebook page. You can go to our Facebook page, my Facebook page. We've posted it in multiple sources. We want to get it to well over 100,000, and it looks like it's well on its way. Again, if you want to stand up with us on this petition campaign, you could do that at aclj.org or 800-684-3110. But again, listen to this music. Take a look at this video. I think it's a game changer, I think, for the pro-life movement. It really puts it in perspective. John, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thank you so much.
The Internal Revenue Service scandal is getting worse. Now there are new revelations of the IRS targeting Tea Party and conservative groups, disturbing admissions that the IRS scheme was even more partisan and more coordinated than previously thought. The American Center for Law and Justice represents 41 groups in a federal lawsuit challenging the IRS. We intend to get to the bottom of this unlawful and unconstitutional scheme, an out-of-control IRS that intentionally targeted conservative organizations, violating their First Amendment rights. Stand with the ACLJ now. Sign on to our petition to end IRS abuse. Add your name by calling 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255 or online, aclj.org.